Welcome back. Welcome to another edition of Nain Shorts. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing to all the people that you like, and the people you don't like, really send them my videos. I don't know what they'll do to them, but here we are. But again, thank you for watching. Very much appreciate you guys. I have to say this past weekend was an incredibly humbling experience, to say the least. And that's because I went through my black belt test. So let's get into that. Now, for those of you who have followed along, know that I don't have a lot of traditional martial arts experience. I started with the bladed mine. I'm sort of doing my own thing. I still train with Rick, and we've kind of pushed the envelope of the things that we understand and were given to such a degree that I eventually learned Kaju Kempo, or rather I became involved in Kaju Kempo through Grandmaster Bob Gomez, and he felt that I was ready for my black belt test. Now, going into this, again, I don't have a lot of experience to it. It was the first time. And there's this stark difference between who I was, even the day of the test, and who I am now after. First of all, I'm incredibly sore. And every day I seem to find new bruises and new pains, and for the life of me, can't remember whether it was a kick, a punch, or who it was that actually hit me at that particular time and during the test. All I know is that it hurts. And that alone is humbling enough. If you've never been punched in the face, you should, because it will tell you right away what kind of person you really are. And from what I understand, that's the point of the black belt test. It isn't a transition. It isn't a donning of a title. It is literally to push you to, one, see if you know your shit. Which, that part, I got it. But the real test, the thing that truly matters, is who are you when all that goes out the window? When you're so tired that you can't even bring your hands up to block anymore, where you're gasping for air so hard that every time you get hit, it disrupts whatever you were trying to do, breathe in or breathe out, and that you're stuck in this confined space where you can't really run away, even though you want to. You want to quit, but you can't. And in that moment, you get to see what kind of person you really are. And I'm told I did great. I still got my black belt. And don't get me wrong, folks, I earned it. Not only class time, but also training outside of class, my forums, talking to various friends, good friend Justin Bailey, John Atkinson, always giving me feedback, always giving me advice. And even the topics here on Nain Shorts, they talk to me about it, and they give me their perception on it, their point of view on the whole idea, their pitfalls and successes that they've had in conversation, in training these ideas and topics. So all that I've taken to heart, and I've implemented as much as I could into my own training. So the effort is there. The time has been put. And when it was all said and done, big shout out to my sparring partners, Seabok Mike, Sifu John, Robert, even Shabnam and another fellow student. They all helped me on the mat, and I can't be any more grateful than I am for you guys for putting me through that and helping me come out the other end, because you don't really know what kind of person you are. And at this point, I'm a little conflicted, because I accept the praise that I got. I accept even SGM Ron Liu was there, and he believed that I did a great job, and he told me as much. and I take that to heart, and it's a great praise. But getting bombarded by punches and kicks and taking them and surviving is one thing, but my ego, guys, my pride is just as bruised, because I genuinely had an expectation that I would do a lot more, that I would do a lot better, and I emphasize the quotations because that's not what the test is designed for. And I understand that. And yet, I'm egotistic enough to feel disappointment in myself. And that's not the takeaway. I don't feel down on myself, but it is a revelation. And I've come to the conclusion that I am not as humble as I think I am. And I genuinely believe that the problem stems from the idea that I believe myself to be humble. Like I reach that goal of being humble, but it's not a goal. It's a habit. It's something you have to do every day. And the more comfortable we get with something, the less we're likely to work at it. So from this point on, I will no longer consider myself humble, but something that I need to work on, that I need to every day work on being more humble. And I feel like the black belt is a personification of that ideology. I didn't reach this level. To me, earning this black belt gave me the right to be a white belt. I earned the white belt status. The black belt just says that I went through the process of being able to get to this point where now I can really push the learning. Because while I did prepare for my black belt test, I don't feel I prepared as enough or as much as I could have. Being a black belt isn't like, oh, I reached it, I'm good, I got the title, and that's it. No, now I feel it necessary that I have to exhibit that level of hard work every single day from this point on. I can't lax. I have to continue my training. I have to continue my conditioning, my workouts, my learning. It's not about reaching this peak, but it's about continuing the same level of effort that I put into getting here. I can't go below that level, because if I do, I personally feel like I'm letting down myself. I'm letting down all the hard work I did. I'm not going to slack off. Everyone would understand after taking a beating like that, yeah, you may not want to go back to class right away. But I was in class today. I'm fired up. Because, one, I was humbled. I'm not as good as I thought I was. And again, I understand the test is designed to make you feel that way to a certain degree. It's supposed to tire you out, so you're huffing and puffing. And do you have the grit to keep on going despite that? I got that. But that's already passed. What do I do next? My mind is now looking at, okay, where do I go from here? And it's maintaining a minimum of that black belt mentality, that black belt hard work. All that I did to get to this point, now it's on me to maintain it and then push it higher every single time. This isn't an end, it's a beginning. It's a beginning, and I'm excited. Now, part of me doesn't ever want to go through something like that again. I really don't. But another part of me, that eager side, I want to see if I've improved. Of course, not right away, but over time, I would love to be involved in something where I spar multiple times and multiple opponents just to see, hey, do I personally feel like I did better this time around than I did last time? Was I able to get a few more hits in this time than last time? Was I able to stay on my toes and keep my hands up a little bit more next time than I did last time? I'm excited for that. I'm excited. Where else can I apply my mentality and grow? What other exercises can I add? How can I intensify my workouts? My workouts mentally have changed. I want to bring myself to that point of exhaustion and then do my bag work and then do my techniques and then do my punch arts and grab arts. And Rick was the first one to tell me, hey, the reason why you were so gassed out is because you went so hard at the beginning part, during your piñons, during your punch arts and grab arts. You did more than you had to, energy-wise. But I haven't had the heart to confess to him just yet that I know. A lot of that was on purpose. Part of it was I wanted to perform. I wanted to show off what I could do, what I knew I was confident in doing. Having nerves, being in front of everybody, and performing everything that I did with an audience, yeah, that helped in gassing me out too and putting in that extra energy. But it was also purposeful enough because I wanted to be fatigued. I wanted to gas out. I wanted to see for myself what would come out, what was going to be the other end of that. Personally, I was disappointed. And maybe I just am holding myself up to a standard that I'll never be able to reach. And I personally think that's okay. Because if that bar is always a little bit out of reach, then that means that I'm constantly going to be working towards it. And if every time I reach another height, it gets pushed up higher, then I'm constantly going to keep working at it. I'm constantly going to try to improve. That's my way of motivating myself to get better. Because we have to find that within ourselves. We have to find reason for what we do. Ultimately, you're going to achieve your goals at one point or another, but what comes next? Do you rest on your laurels or do you set another goal? And that's just my take on it. And when it comes to the idea of really finding out what kind of person you are, a black belt test is a great venue, a great vehicle to really see what you're made of, the way it's designed. And I'll be the first to admit, I got off easy comparatively to what Sijo John had to go through, Sijo Johnny Oliva, what Sifu John and Seabach Mike and GM Bob and all the other black belts, and even Senior Grandmaster Ron Liu, the things they had to go through, the way that they were brought up back in the day when there was less restrictions on the way people were able to train and the way people were pushed compared to how this black belt went. Yeah, I feel like it was tough, but maybe I'm just soft. That is a possibility, and I'm willing to look at that and consider that a possibility because it's yet something else that I can work on, that I can improve on. But it was tough, and it did push me to a limit that I was unaware of, that I wanted to find out, that I want to teeter-totter again and be as close to that again as I possibly can, and then get better and then improve. So yeah, if you haven't been punched in the face, it definitely puts things into perspective. And for those that have, you know exactly what I mean. But it isn't just in martial arts. I think in life, we need that. We need to dedicate ourselves to improving on something and then be tested. Tested to the point where we're exhausted, where maybe we didn't reach the goals that we had set, or maybe we did better than we thought we did. But regardless of what it is that you choose to do to engross yourself into learning something, getting better at something, and then testing it. If you want to run a marathon, you want to get involved with being able to just run a mile or two. Because right now you can't even walk up the stairs without, heaving. Whatever your goal is, but to push yourself. beyond the limit of what you thought possible. And then along the way, built a group of people that are not just going to support you, that are not just going to give you that reinforcement, but they're also going to be honest with you. And they're going to pick you up and get you going on your way. And when you're feeling like you're down, hey, they're going to be there. It may be harsh. It might hurt. But they want the best for you, because I have to take into consideration as a martial artist, sure, it was tough. Sure, I got hit. Sure, I have the bruises to prove it. But had any of those people had any malicious intent? If they weren't martial artists themselves and had the control that they exhibited, I'd be done for. I'd be so messed up. And out there in the street, they may not have that reserve to stop. Because I took a kick. I took a roundhouse kick to the nose. And had Seabach Mike not had the control that he had the restriction and the care that he showed, my nose would look very different right now. It would be smashed into my skull. It would be very broken, and I'd be bruised all across here. I'd have a band-aid. Might be worse than that. But I have to consider those things because it is part of the process of learning. Yeah, all the praise was said, all the good things were said, and I take those to heart, definitely. But what comes next? What is after all that? Folks, it's the lessons I learned. It's the humility that was bestowed upon me. And I say that with the greatest of love, bestowed upon me. Because sometimes we need that for perspective. And that's what this black belt test meant to me. And so many other lessons that I could extrapolate from that I'm going to continue to grow off of. And for me, it isn't an achievement. Not in the way that, oh, I'm a black belt now, let me puff out my chest. No, I will cattail myself at becoming a black belt, because it really means that I have so much more to go, so much more to learn. And I've earned the right to start this journey all over again, almost from scratch, but along with that, all the lessons that I've had up until now. But I can start over again, and I'm so excited to do so. What comes next? Where else can I go? So I ask this to you, to you who are ranked, to you who are instructors, or maybe you're not even instructors, but you did reach your rank. How did it feel to achieve that? And where did you go from that? Did you push harder? Did you maybe go on into other aspects of your life? And how has this experience affected those aspects of your life? For those of you who are instructors, where did you go? How did you learn? How did it change the way that you perceived yourself and the things that you've gotten up until that point? Folks, for me, it's changed so much in one day. What was it? I don't even know how long it took, to be quite honest. It could have been an hour and a half, could have been 2 hours, could have been 3 hours. All I know is that I was exhausted, and I'm so much the better for it. Folks, I can't advocate the martial arts any more than I am here right now, because what you gain from it goes beyond kicking and punching, goes beyond the idea of violence. And if you think of it that way, you'll get a lot out of it. So, thank you very much for joining me on another one of Nain Shorts. This was a very special episode for me, and I hope you guys take away something from it as well. But till the next one. 3, 2, 1, cut.
Fighters! Aim Nain! Keep them in the center of the ring! Keep them in the center! 4, 3, 2,
Go! Pressure!
ding ding! Yeah!
Actually,
able to actually keep him in the center.
Good job.
She can help you.
Job.
Yeah.